Okay, so let's go back to the first part of the ear again. Okay, the outer ear. Now these ridges in your ear actually play a function. So you've got the outer ear with these ridges. You've got the ear canal, which is this ear canal is number 4 here. And number 3 is your tympanic membrane or your eardrum. Okay, so that is all considered outer ear. Now, as I mentioned briefly, and I was starting to get into, that all ears are different. You can see that outer ears are different on everybody, right? And it actually affects the way that we hear. But you can just look around the room and see everybody has differences in their ear. And it's really important to understand that the size of your ear matters, how it sticks out matters, or it doesn't stick out. For example, I encourage everybody to try this. Just push your ears forward just a little bit. Now listen to how I talk, right? And then put them back and see what the difference is, right? It's really different. And just a little bit of difference makes a big difference to how you perceive sound. I used to work with this engineer from Scotland. His ears literally stuck out like this, like my German Shepherd. And I tell you, he could hear anything. I mean, he had great hearing. So the way your ears are shaped and the way biologically your body has formed them really does matter to how you capture sound and get it into your ear canal for your tympanic membrane. Okay, so outer ear, the pinna, causes reflections of sound coming in from different directions, which is these ridges. These reflections cause delays between 10 and 300 microseconds. Microseconds is 10 to the minus 6 of a second. Very, very, very small delays. But these delays help us to localize different sounds. So I know somebody over here just cleared their throat, the door just opened over here. That's localization of sound because I know where it's coming from. Even behind me, I can localize it. There's a bunch of reasons. One of the reasons you can localize sound has to do with these small delays that the ridges in your ear actually cause. And everybody has different types. But as I said, we're speaking in general about human being hearing. And obviously, other type of animals like my dog can hear way better than I can. So the outer ear, the ear canal is part of the outer ear. It's shaped like a tube, which is very interesting because it acoustically acts like a tube. We talked about what tubes do to sound, like flutes and trumpets and clarinets. There's a resonant frequency to a tube. You remember the resonant frequency concept? That it resonates because of the length of the tube, and this is a tube with 2 open ends. Or actually, it's got 1 closed end, 1 open end. It's actually fairly small, but it does have a resonant frequency, and that impacts how we hear. So the ear canal, about 3 centimeters long, we can actually calculate what frequencies are going to actually be amplified by this tube and what frequencies aren't. The tube meaning your ear canal. And if you go through the calculations, we see that 2.8 kilohertz or so is a frequency that actually gets exaggerated by the physical part of our hearing. Right? So when you think about it, everybody thinks, oh, I hear all frequencies equally and that I have really good hearing because I can hear all sorts of stuff really well. But there's certain frequencies that actually get amplified in the mechanism of our hearing. 2.8 kilohertz is the magic frequency that actually gets amplified just because of the physical geometry of our hearing, of our ears. Okay, the outer ear, combination of the pinna, focusing the ear canal's resonance, make the eardrum up to 10 decibels more sensitive around 3 kilohertz or 2.8 kilohertz than at the opening of the ear because it's acting like a little resonant tube, just like when we talked about a Coke bottle and blowing in the top and getting a tone out of it. That was the resonant frequency of that particular closed-end tube system. Our ear has the same characteristic. So that stands to reason that our ears are not linear when it comes to frequencies. Low frequencies to high frequencies, we don't hear the same. And that sort of compounds the problem of trying to mix something for other people because everybody has different frequency response of their hearing. The eardrum, let's talk about that for a second, is a membrane shaped like a cone that's stretched over the inner part of the ear canal. And the eardrum moves back and forth based upon air pressure on either side of it. Right? So when I'm speaking, I'm creating an air pressure wave that's actually hitting your eardrum and making it vibrate slightly. So there's access, air access in your ear to behind the eardrum so that the pressure remains fairly equal. How many people have flown and their ears sort of clog up, and then you can make them pop by yawning? You're opening up that entrance so air can get in behind your eardrum as well and equalize the pressure. So that's when your ears pop. That's what's happening.